So I bought a 3D printer. I am extremely fortunate that my birthday lies really close to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And basically this thing was over 50% off and I had to snag it. I needed one. I don't know why. This model is the anycubic Photon Mono X. And according to their website, it has some very cool key features, like a UV cooling system, because I didn't know this, but temperature can really affect resin. And yeah, so you want to keep it nice and I don't know why it says UV cooling system, because I was under the impression that your resin doesn't want to get too cold or it won't flow properly. But yeah, what do I know? I just own one. I don't know how it works, why it works. It also says on the website that it has a really large build volume, and it says specifically a large build area for your 3D printed creations, 192 millimeters long, 120 millimeters wide, and the height can reach up to 245 millimeters, which is quite big because usually I just print minis. One feature that I didn't know of at the time, because I didn't even really see it listed on the website, but anycubic provides their own free slicing software, which means that you can really easily download STL files that you purchase from the internet and then slice them so that they fit your build plate. Something else that I was not expecting at all was how stinky resin is. I knew kind of vaguely how it's best to wear a mask because it can be toxic, but I had no idea that it was. So what I do, because I also don't have a very big apartment, so I print in my kitchen and I turn on my kitchen fan and I open all of the windows and then I turn on my hood for my oven and I keep those all running. And then I leave the kitchen, I close the kitchen door, I turn on the hallway fan, and then I open all of the windows, including the ones in this room, in my bedroom, and in my bathroom. And I can still, I can still smell it even through all of that. However, when you have a cat and your cat is kind of neurotic, like all cats typically are, you can't really shut all doors because your cat will freak out. So I'm constantly wrestling with Cookie to keep the room door shut. Not the kitchen. She doesn't like the kitchen, but every other door she doesn't like it when they're closed. She panics. Another thing I didn't know is once your 3D print is done, the resin on it is still obviously kind of wet. And oh, there's Cookie. Hello, Cookie. And basically what you need to do is give your new prints a bath in some isopropyl alcohol, no less than 90%, which it took me 2 weeks to source some isopropyl alcohol. And then once that is done, you want to take it over to your UV light, which at the time of filming this, I only had my paint dryer that has, for some reason, it has a UV light function. And I use that. This little piece took like, I think 3 days to fully cure, but it looks cool. It's a cool test print. Due to the test going really well and the printer seemingly being set up properly, I went ahead and found this very cool free print on My Mini Factory of Darth Vader. I haven't really talked about Star Wars much on this channel, but I really love the original Star Wars movies. By original, I mean Episode 4, Episode 5, and Episode 6. And Darth Vader in particular, I find to be just the coolest and the sexiest villain of all time. And yeah, I could not say no to 3D printing this and trying him out. We can see here, this is when I realized, oh yeah, he's in totally black resin, so we can't even see his details. So I cranked the ISO for you guys. There you go. As kind of an extra precaution, I threw him into my ultrasonic cleaner for about 5 minutes after I gave him the isopropyl alcohol bath. I don't know if that's really required, but I felt like it might be a good idea because the resin was still stinky. And yeah, here he is, all cleaned up, resentful of killing Padme, spoiler alert, and just being really angsty and angry in general, ready to mess up some Jedi. We got Darth Vader. I was so happy with how the details on this print ended up. You can see, you can tell it's Darth Vader. He looks so cool. All of his little buttons and knobs are there. Everything looks so great. His mask, well, his helmet, I should say, the Darth Vader thing is just immaculate. And I really want to paint him up to be as accurate as I can. And luckily for me, I have some really good friends who know I'm a giant nerd and they buy me Star Wars toys all the time. So I have this I think he's from episode 5, this Darth Vader, who has all his proper buttons and knobs and stuff. So I have a pretty solid reference to not screw up my paint job on Mr. Vader here. First things first, of course, he got a prime. I haven't looked into this. I wonder if you could I wonder if you can paint directly onto resin without the need for primer. After his priming was finished, I put down a base coat of glossy black from 𝗲𝗿𝗄𝗏. This stuff is super shiny and cool. Your minis or your models will always look wet when you use this stuff. It's great. The first detail I painted were his eyes, which got kind of my deepest, darkest red-brown color that I have. I didn't really notice this at all ever, but if you do Google Darth Vader's helmet, in the earlier movies, his eyes were not pure black. His eyes were actually red, which it's a cool detail that I didn't notice till this day. Just 3D printing, learning something new every day. I don't know about everyone else, but when I was a kid, actually even now, I've always wanted to know what happens if you tinker with Darth Vader's chest piece there, you know? Like, what would happen if you press some of those buttons? No one ever does. At least I don't think anyone ever does. Hold on, I need to YouTube something. All right, I am back, and what I learned was that the suit can pretty much work autonomously, and by work I mean keep Darth Vader alive, because as we know, Darth Vader's biggest weakness is high grounds. And I did not learn much, but I learned, it says here, that the big red button on Vader's chest was a manual override switch which allowed Vader to exert himself more than his suit would normally allow him with the proper tweaking of some of the other controls on his chest plate and belt. So I guess what that means is don't touch Darth Vader. Darth Vader's suit is his safe space. One creative decision that I made totally independent on my own when I was painting him up, though, was that I didn't like that everything on Darth Vader is pretty much black. His cloak is black, his clothing around his armor is black, his armor, of course, is black, and so I just used other very dark colors to accentuate certain areas, and so that he wouldn't look, quote-unquote, as boring as, you know, he kind of is color-wise. And for the last step, I painted up the Imperial logo with just some pure white from Reaper, and yeah, that was it. Called it done. I think he looks super accurate. Like, you can barely tell the difference. Look at that. There's Darth Vader ready to destroy Hoth on the left, and then there's Darth Vader ready to destroy the Rebel base on Hoth on the right. There's like no difference. Oh, actually, I guess the red eyes stand out quite a bit, but I'm sticking with those. That is lore accurate Darth Vader eyes. And that concludes my very first project with a 3D print that I found on myminifactory.com. Like I said before, this bust is free on my mini factory. Also, another cool thing, it's actually much larger, but I knew already where I wanted to put this bust, so I made it smaller in the anycubic slicing software. But if you wanted him, honestly just search for Darth Vader on my mini factory, and it is a free file. There's also a Yoda that I am also thinking of getting, which is also free. And here's the purpose form that I alluded to just a second ago. I want Darth Vader to look down on me while I'm airbrushing to motivate me through negative reinforcement. And that concludes the anycubic adventure that we all just went on. I'm really excited for the future because now I feel like I can go onto all of these awesome 3D print websites and find really cool props and stuff for my projects. There's actually 2 projects that I'm working on right now where the main subject is a 3D printed mini that I just found a file for, paid for it, and printed. That being said, I don't want to lean too hard on 3D printing. I still want to kind of learn how to create things on my own with, you know, clay and XPS foam. I see 3D printing really more as a way to access more models and more ways to set the mood and tone of scenes or things that I do creatively. But I hope that you all enjoyed, and I love you, and have a great week. Happy Monday, everyone. Goodbye.